Welcome, if that's the right word, to Kyiv, capital of the under-siege Ukraine. When Russian dictator Vladimir Putin invaded this country, he arrogantly expected to conquer it easily. He was wrong. Despite being badly outnumbered and completely outgunned, Ukrainian soldiers have shown extraordinary fight, and leading the resistance has been their president, Volodymyr Zelensky. His transformation from former actor and comedian to hero of the free world is inspirational. As one observer put it, he's Charlie Chaplin, morphed into Winston Churchill. Tonight, he wants to speak to Australia, and he's invited us into his inner sanctum to explain the horror show that is this ongoing war. The road to Kyiv is not a simple one. Bridges blown apart, never-ending roadblocks, and so much devastation. This is very clearly a war zone. That is why we're here, to meet the man credited with inspiring Ukraine's remarkable resistance. President Volodymyr Zelensky, the most admired leader in the world right now. Hello, Mr. President.
Nice to meet you.
It's great to meet you.
Right, to meet you too.
Thank you for inviting us in here.
Thank you for coming.
Unlike the typical politician in suit and tie, President Zelensky has made his army's green fatigues his signature outfit. And his famous sense of humour was also quickly on show for us.
60 minutes.
60 Minutes Australia, yes.
So my question is not clever. How long it will?
But that's where the laughs end. The situation here at Mission Control couldn't be more serious. The hallways blacked out since the war began to avoid becoming a target for Russian bombs. You feel like the danger of air raids is still real with the lights blacked out?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course it can be, yes, because you know who are our neighbors. Nobody knows what will be today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And even in an hour.
President Zelensky lives in this makeshift bunker. In fact, this has been his home since the war began. Putin thought he'd win here in 3 days, but it's 9 weeks later and you're still going strong.
Thank you so much. It's our people. I think it means that the main thing is the unity of our people.
Yeah.
Unity and our soldiers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Make yourself comfortable. This is a man whose blood is blue and yellow. How proud are you of your country right now?
For you, your country is the best. For me, my country is the best. I'm proud of Ukraine and Ukrainians because Ukraine without Ukrainians, it's another country. It's all about our people. I'm very proud that I'm Ukrainian, and I'm very proud that the world at least understood that we are strong people and we are always ready. It doesn't matter for us if the enemy is from very big country, with a very strong army. If they will come, any time will come to our country, we'll be ready.
But being the proud Ukrainian who boldly stood up to a belligerent Russia has come at a price. Mr. President, you are target number one for Russia. You know, reports suggest there have been 10 foiled assassination attempts on you. It must be unnerving knowing how much certain people want you dead.
Це не так багато, 10, получається, це 10 людей хочуть.
When speaking on serious matters, the president slips into his native tongue.
Я думаю, що у президента
Well, that's 10 assassination attempts. Means that there's only 10 people willingly to have me killed. That's not bad. When people are being tortured, when the bodies of people are found in the wells, I think, considering all of that, my situation is not that horrible. But I'm afraid for those people.
When the war began, Zelensky could easily have fled the country after the United States offered him an escape route to command the war from abroad. But in a bold, strategic move, he chose to stay.
Всі ми тут, наші військові
Dressed in those army fatigues, the president recorded this video for social media, saying, "We are all here. Our soldiers are here. The citizens of the country are here. We are all here protecting our country, and we are going to continue." The decision to stay proved to be a masterstroke, inspiring Ukrainians to stand up and fight, but also galvanising international support for his nation in the battle against Russia.
I truly think that his decision to stay in the country was decisive, because first days of war, nobody was sure what to do, what exactly to do. So his decision, okay, nobody's not going anywhere. We're staying where we are and we fight.
Serhiy Nikiforov is President Zelensky's press secretary, and he's witnessed firsthand the making of the international man of the moment. What do you think is the president's greatest strength?
He's brave. What do you need from a leader in a wartime? The bravery, right? He has to be decisive. He has to be brave. He has to show no signs of doubt. I think, well, the president has it all.
Fighting a war is a world away from Volodymyr Zelensky's former life.
Здрасте.
Василий Петрович Голобородько?
Да.
Доброе утро, господин президент.
Long before his presidency, he was a household name in Ukraine as an actor and comedian. This kind of repertoire is hardly the usual path to the top office. But it was his starring role in the satire series called Servant of the People that really struck a chord. In it, Zelensky played a teacher whose rant about government corruption went viral and saw him end up being elected as president. Life imitated art when the then 41-year-old decided to run for the top job, promising to stamp out corruption. He even called his party the Servant of the People Party. But when you first decided, okay, maybe I can be president, was there part of you that thought, we'll try this for a bit of fun? Or from the outset, you thought, no, I must change this country?
Я ніколи не жартував з цим.
Well, I never made it like a joke, but I actually didn't want to have to become a president. That was not my dream. And when a lot of people around me were telling me that you have a chance, so why shouldn't you try? Well, we'll support you. I wasn't taking that seriously, and that was not my desire, not my dream from the early childhood.
His 2019 political campaign was completely unorthodox. Instead of holding babies and attending rallies, he chose to take a comedy show on tour. And then, in a brilliant marketing manoeuvre, just days before the election, the third series of The Servant of the People started on Netflix in Ukraine. Days later, Zelensky won in a record-breaking landslide.
Тож, що вийшло
So it all happened, like at a certain moment, and you feel that you want to change the state, want to change something for the better of the people. I love this country. I love Ukraine.
A deadly convoy moving south.
But nothing could have prepared President Zelensky for the challenges that lay ahead. On February 24 this year, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced his invasion. For more than 2 months now, Russia has pummeled Ukraine. More than 11 million people have fled their homes, and some cities have been just about wiped off the map.
І тут приходить той момент,
This was some sort of an inhumane behavior. And there was this moment that you realize that they're willing to destroy you. They're willing to destroy the whole Ukrainian people.
Perhaps nowhere has come to epitomise the barbaric nature of the Russian assault, quite like here in Bucha, about 45 minutes out of Kyiv. The aftermath It's like some sort of apocalyptic graveyard. This is actually what's left of Putin's attacking forces, but before they were defeated in this region by Ukrainian troops, the atrocities the Russians committed here were truly evil. They were the images that shocked the world. Civilians left to rot in the street. Russian soldiers had butchered townsfolk. Locals with arms tied behind their backs, shot in the head. Women raped. An old man cycling had been executed, his feet hauntingly still on the pedals. When President Zelensky visited here, it was the first time we saw the war getting to him, his face stricken with grief. When you went to Bucha, I think what you saw clearly cut you to your core. Do you have any doubt that what has happened there and in other parts of the country, these are war crimes committed by Russian forces?
Well, I felt pain. I felt an anger. I felt a desire for revenge. And then after that came a lack of understanding. How could you do something to people, to humanity? How could you torture that many people?
I can see your eyes almost welling up. You know, there is clearly emotion when it comes to this. Is it hard as a political leader because you don't want to show weakness, but you also do want to be human still?
Look, I'm not afraid to show some sort of weakness. You're right, you can lose your humanity, and I want not to lose it. I want to keep my humanity, and that is why I'm watching all of it. I'm looking at photos. Getting used to a war, it's the worst possible habit.
Vladimir Putin has continually shown his lack of humanity, and the Ukrainian president fears we may not have seen the worst of it just yet. How seriously do you take Putin's threat that he would use nuclear weapons?
So those challenges are significant, and you can't even use the word challenge, because it's not about challenge, it's about death. Death could come to the whole of Europe, and those people, they don't care.
They can't dig the graves fast enough at Bucha's main cemetery. There's just too many bodies to bury. We were here on Tuesday. They have to hold simultaneous burials because there are just too many funerals to get through in one day. It means the sound of excavators sometimes drowns out the mourners. One of the funerals was for Dmytro Fedorovsky, who was only 52. His son Roman is still in shock that his dad was executed, shot in the back of the head in his own home.
He was the most friendly person. He couldn't hurt a fly. I never expected my father to be murdered. I thought we're living in the century when conflicts are decided peacefully with diplomacy, but not people being shot in the head.
What I find so overwhelming here today is that you're trying to bury your father, yet at the same time, you know, they're digging up the next grave because there's just so many people here who have lost their lives. Yes, a lot of people died in Bucha. There are so many people to be buried. Funerals are normally personal, private experiences. But the people we met here asked us to share these images with the world. They want everyone to see the horror being inflicted by Vladimir Putin. Roman's father joins an ever-increasing list of civilians murdered by Russian troops. The latest number stands at nearly 3,000, including 200 children. It's a disturbing scenario for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mr. President, we went to some mass burials at Bucha yesterday, and the emotional suffering there, for me, it is just unimaginable. Do you think this is part of Putin's strategy? So many of their attacks, it has nothing to do with gaining territory. It's about terrorizing your people.
Well, I believe that is part of their tactics. They've started with intimidation. They started to destroy those people. That's the operation. That's the war. That's the true face of their decisions. You understand that these are just barbarians who act like cowards.
The president, like so many of his countrymen and women, agonises daily about his own family, his wife, high school sweetheart Elena, and their two children, 17-year-old Alexandra and 9-year-old son Kirillo. They have fled Kyiv and are now in hiding. You're number one on Russia's hit list, but I think your family is number two. How worried are you about their safety?
Yes, we do understand that. And we receive some information with regards to the threats. This is my family, and I believe that that's my weak spot. And that's why there is special security measures provided for them because of the war.
And so when you talk to your children, I mean, do you try and keep it lighthearted, or do they want to know about what's happening with the war?
They understand everything. They have to understand everything. We have an open democracy in our country, and I think the same, if not a greater level of democracy in our family. That's why I'm answering all of their questions openly. So I don't keep secrets from them. They clearly know who are we, who we are in war against, what we are fighting for, and they clearly know that we will be victorious.
Zelensky has made it the hallmark of his presidency to honour the heroes who stood up to Russia. We watched as he presented medals to workers from Chernobyl nuclear power plant who became trapped at the site when Russian forces stormed and seized the volatile facility on the first day of the invasion. Ukraine has since regained control of that site, but President Zelensky believes Russia's total disregard for the danger posed by attacking multiple nuclear power plants speaks to their willingness to fire nuclear weapons as well. How seriously do you take Putin's threat that he would use nuclear weapons?
So those challenges are significant, and you can't even use the work challenge because it's not about a challenge, it's about death. Death could come to the whole of Europe, and those people, they don't care. There was an order to capture the nuclear power plant, so you can't expect anything from the leadership that they will not be using nuclear weapons.
Our musicians wear body armor. Instead of tuxedo, they sing to the wounded in hospitals.
Vladimir Zelensky is clearly a man who knows how to get his message across with maximum impact. But he's not just commander-in-chief. He's also the maestro of morale. Like no other wartime leader before him, he's leveraged his relative youth to connect with the masses via social media. Whether it be walking the streets without even a flak jacket or daily situation updates, the president's direct relationship with his people has helped rally not just the troops, but Ukrainians as a whole. You're very prolific on social media and have really connected not just with your people, but the international community. Do you think Western countries would have come to your aid as much if you hadn't been able to get the message out there as widely as you have?
Yes, that's a modern tool, a state-of-the-art tool, and a kind of weapon that's not a lethal one. But it helps. The informational war is not a conventional war. Without the social media, without the internet, I'm confident that people on the other side of the ocean, people in the other Western countries would not have that much information about the war. People have to understand what the president is doing every day, because we are fighting.
And tonight, the president has a special message for Australia.
You helped us already, and it's true, but we need more.
Walking the streets of Kyiv, you can sometimes forget there's a war going on in Ukraine right now. It's hard to fathom that just a few weeks ago, this city was under siege. Now, though, Ukraine's army has arrested control of the region surrounding the capital. And remarkably, the streets are busy and restaurants and bars are reopening. For presidential advisor Serhiy Nikiforov, the rebirth of the capital city feels like a significant victory.
Really, I mean, if you look outside of the window here in Kyiv, there is nothing, maybe almost nothing, that can remind you of war. That you know, months ago, the Russian tanks were just in the outskirts of Kyiv. But I don't know if this feeling of comfort and security, I don't know if it's good or bad, because from one point of view, we should not forget what's happening in Ukraine. We should not lose this feeling.
He's right. While Kyiv might be coming back to life, Russia is doubling down on its campaign of death and destruction in the east and the south of Ukraine. The pictures out of cities like Mariupol are chilling. It's becoming clear Vladimir Putin is willing to take a scorched earth approach to much of this war. Do you think people overseas truly understand how horrific the situation is here right now?
It's very difficult for them. You can't feel the pain until you lose someone. You can't feel the pain until you're wounded. I'm not wishing anyone to feel that pain. I'm just telling that this is the feeling.
So what is this room here?
That is here some meetings with...
As this war drags on, the growing question is, how does all of this end?
And sometimes I meet with the cabinet of ministers, and sometimes before our when we should be together. And for example,
President Zelensky and his team have called this compound home for more than 9 weeks now, and they are determined to stay here until the war is won. Well, so history was made here, but I think you've got more history to achieve yet.
I think so.
What does victory look like for you?
Well, to return what is ours, to return the calmness, the tranquility, to have our people returned. I don't need anything extra. We just want to take what belongs to us, and not to take, but to return what is ours.
Before we left, President Zelensky had a special, heartfelt message for Australia. He says his country will never forget the support we have offered Ukraine in its hour of need.
I have to be only very thankful to Australian people that you helped us already, and it's true, but we need more. It's also true. I'm sorry, I'm the president of war country, the country which is in war, and with such friends like you, with such respect friends. Maybe my English is not good. I'm sorry, dear Australian people. I'm very sorry, but I think you understand my feelings too. That is the main thing. You have to know that Ukraine will always remember It will be written in our historical books about your help. Thanks a lot.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinfort. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our Extra Minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au, as well as the 9Now app.